Are we on the brink of a real estate apocalypse caused by Airbnb? Well, let's debunk the myths and dig into the facts. In today's video, we will be diving headfirst into three compelling areas. One, the alarming buzz about Airbnb supposedly causing a housing market crash. Two, the hard numbers and realities behind these claims. And three, the possible curveball of regulatory changes and their potential impacts. Now, in a sea of rumors and information, one that stands out is this claim that Airbnb hosts are witnessing a whopping 50% drop in revenues due to an oversupply and decline in demand, and that somehow this will force them to sell off their properties. Now, if they did, this in turn would supposedly lead to a surge in housing inventories, and then that domino would cause a catastrophic housing market crash. Sounds daunting, right? Well, before we get triggered by this and go into panic, let's hear from Airbnb themselves. According to a spokesperson, Sam Randall, their data paints a very contrasting picture. In Q1 of 2023, a report suggests a healthy 19% increase in bookings compared to the previous year. Obviously, they have a bias, so I think it's valuable to get a third-party perspective. Enter AirDNA, a data provider specializing in short-term rental listings, had this data point. Their analyst indicates a mere 3% dip in revenue per listing, with some U.S. cities actually seeing a surge in Airbnb revenues. Is this modest dip in revenue enough to cause Airbnb property owners to sell in panic, potentially triggering a market crash? Well, let's look at the numbers. The total number of short-term rentals, including Airbnb, VRBO, and all the others, represent a mere 0.8% of total U.S. housing stock. So not even a percent. So even if we were to witness a mass sell-off, and the overall impact would be marginal, it would be marginal at best. Now, if you're in an Airbnb property and you're an owner facing this dwindling revenue, you obviously still have options. You could weather the storm, convert your property into a long-term rental. You could enhance your listing. You could sell the property. The choice, as they say, is yours. The Airbnb market indeed is experiencing increasingly competitiveness. Like, it is getting more competitive. There is more supply. There is less demand. However, I don't think that this is going to cause an entire market crash. For a market crash similar to 2010, we'd need to see a surge in foreclosures, something akin to 2.9 million foreclosures that year. With current foreclosures expectations around 130,000 for this year, we're obviously far from those numbers. In my view, a severe recession, not the relatively short-term rental market, would be a trigger for a major housing market crash. The market simply just isn't large enough to cause that collapse by itself. We don't want to forget the wild card of regulation. If you're an Airbnb owner, you know about this. Certain cities, state, and even federal regulations make it a little difficult to navigate this terrain. It is a factor that could further influence the narrative. So either way, fasten your seatbelts as we dive into the details on this. And I wouldn't make any trades, purchases, or sells based on the rumors of the Airbnb market tipping over the housing market. Now, if you're looking for a good source when it comes to the truth, and you're trying to navigate this crazy terrain of misinformation, obviously like, follow, and subscribe. Feel free to leave any comments, as I'm always looking for good feedback. I'm Matthew Pohl, Market Pulse Podcast. Thanks.